Hey, it's Dana. It's a rainy day here in Western Michigan in spring, and I'm at my desk in my studio today, and I have been giving thought to my personal beliefs and opinions about life being a house. Years ago, when I was a photographer, I did an exhibit called The Forgotten Faces of the Forgotten Coast, and it was all about a slower paced life. And I sat on the porch with people in their 80s and 90s and talked about life. And there was a certain feeling about being on their porch with them, a certain slowness, and hearing them talk about their stories. And the gist of it was that we move so fast, even back then, and this is decades ago, that we often think that we know who's passing in front of us. But if we just take 5 minutes to talk to them, so much of the time, how we perceive them, who we think they are, has a much deeper story. And so that was the point of that exhibit. And I ended up getting to hear about the past and who these folks were. And one of them was the Coca-Cola model from 1940s. I mean, she's just living in the community as an artist. But even back then, I was absolutely obsessed with what I termed as the reverse movement. And by that, I meant just not moving exponentially faster, but learning how to have at least pockets of time where you move slower. And I was a kid that grew up I'm 68 years old, so I was born in the late 50s, and I grew up at a time, it wasn't a perfect time, but life just had a different rhythm to it. I was an athlete, I was on the swim team and the tennis team and so forth, but all of that happened during sixth period. So I took a bus to wherever, or those kids came to our school, we had our competition, and then I was right back at the dinner table at home. And virtually zero of those things ever happened on the weekend. I think my little brothers played basketball at the YMCA, and occasionally they were having games on the weekends, but that was just an hour. I mean, we would just, walk over there, ride our bikes over there, whatever, and watch their game. So my childhood was filled with bike rides, playing in the dirt, raking the leaves. My sister and I used to take our folding chairs over to the canyon, Eaton Canyon in Pasadena, where I grew up, and we would just sit there with our magazines and our feet in the water and sit in the sun all day long. We would do that on a Saturday. Once we got our chores done, we had chores. And I have been working in people's homes for a while. I was a photographer, and I love that because that's also a really amazing relationship with my clients and getting to see inside the world. Working in people's homes teaches you a lot about yourself and just about other people and about our current culture. And this is not ever coming from a place of judgment. I always say that I see everything, but I don't know every damn thing. What I question is that we don't question certain things, that we don't look back to generations that were different, that have something to teach us, because isn't that the definition of history repeating itself, is that we don't learn anything, whether it's good or not, things we want to do kind of mimic or things we want to definitely change. My favorite movie is Life as a House. I think it's As a House, not Is a House, but with Kevin Kline. And the reason is because, and it's a little different, but it's about his relationship with his son, and they build a house together or they redo a house together. And just through all those interactions and stressors, they have a chance to mend a broken relationship. But I believe life is a house in that it reflects the lifestyle, the choices, the people, the challenges, and the joys, and the way, people to choose to lead their life and their lifestyle. But exponentially, even going into my relationship, is now a lifestyle that doesn't let us breathe. I started noticing these little kidlets in kindergarten, and if you have kids that age, you know what I'm talking about. They're wearing backpacks As someone that goes to the chiropractor, loves my chiropractor, they're wearing these backpacks that are so big and heavy. Their little bodies are leaning forward. And I'm like, am I the only one that worries about what their back's going to be like? Not even at my age. I'm talking 10 years from now. Carrying things that are too heavy, putting the burden on their back. Am I the only one that's looking at children and seeing that there's no longer that quiet time at breakfast where you're drinking your milk and mom made something for breakfast and you're sitting there? It's like hopping out of bed, you barely brush your teeth, you get downstairs, you're eating something fast, which is not nutritious typically, and then everybody's running out of the house. Typically, mom and dad both work, yada, yada, yada. And it isn't sort of this quiet entry into the day. It's hurry up, do this, got to get out of the door, got to do this. That, to me, and that's just a sliver of looking at children, that, and then all the sports, and the sports being after hours and the sports being on the weekends, their little rhythm is no longer a rhythm. It's schedules and no downtime, no slow time. So as a child, if I had lived that way, and this isn't just about generation, this is about me as a little kid. You know, I'm a creative. I need that downtime. That's when creative happens. We didn't label things as much back then, so I might have been more of an introvert. I might have ADD, and I know I have some dyslexic stuff I went through. But at the end of the day, my little spirit so needed a long walk to school, so needed to come home and be safe in my room and get to decorate it a certain way. It was always picked up. It just felt calm, even though our house wasn't perfect and there was crazy, definitely crazy going on. I always felt safe when I returned there. I always felt like I could let my guard down, take a deep breath, recover before I had to go back out into the world. And I think that's something we've been forgetting, and it has an impact. And I'm going to keep talking about it because I just want people to know that are struggling. They're not alone, that there's other people that see it, experience it, and that I think there's a way to shift it. For sure in the home, there's a way to shift it. So have a great day. Take a deep breath. Slow down. Take a minute. Let your body restore. Have a great day.